This week on the Unamplified Podcast.
Wow, it's the end of season 2 of the Unamplified Podcast. Guys, it's been a journey so far.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Can you believe that?
Momoh, we finished season 1.
Yes.
Then we are done with season 2. About to go to season 3.
Yes, so
And 14 episodes of season 2.
I know, 14
Hard
episodes.
work.
Hard work, you know. They say 7 is a perfect number. I'm like, double
Yeah.
that. You get brilliant perfection.
Yeah.
Yes, so, and I'm happy to be back to just give you a recap with my ladies. And as you know, as always, I'm Cynthia Mbamalu, your host. And we have our co-host.
I'm Queen CY, always coming with the vibes. Yes. Welcome to the Unamplified Podcast.
And hello, my name is Andrea S, and I'm the dramatic one.
And I love the
Today
accent, girl.
with my UK accent.
Oh, Lord.
Thank
I
you
didn't know I
very
was
much.
bringing someone from London here today.
Oh, it was a very long journey.
Did you walk? Did you trek? Did you use canoe?
No, I used keke.
Oh, wow. I love that interesting means of transportation.
Yeah, it was
the
so
tricycle.
breezy.
You can never, it will never fail you. Where cars cannot get to.
Yeah.
Keke will take you there.
Of course. I mean, we went through hills and valleys.
Oh,
You crossed 7 seas.
some seas and mountains at this point. But it's been an interesting season 2, 14 beautiful episodes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we need to just have a recap, right? And we started with trends beyond the bands.
Yeah.
And that was the month of December, right? Because it was also the holiday season. And we had this interesting episode around the dance and the holiday.
Yes.
And I think I wanted to read the first comment that we got from our very first episode, season 2. And this is from Moshood. Shout out to you. And the comment was basically, it's super exciting to see more Nigerian movies on Netflix. This shows the upgrade in the quality of our content.
Yeah.
And I remember that episode we were talking about what was trending, the
Yeah,
movies that
the
were
movies
trending
that
at
were
the time,
trending,
yeah.
the Nigerian movies especially that were trending on both Netflix and Prime and other streaming platforms.
Yeah.
We also talked about the ministers that were appointed.
Yeah,
At the time,
Yes,
at the
we
time, the new
did.
ministers that were appointed,
They were
and then things
appointed.
around black tax.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
had Torhee as a
Black-
guest on
yes,
that
we
particular
did.
episode.
Yes.
What did you guys like about that episode?
It was so interesting because I really got to understand what the black tax means. Like I already knew that, okay, this is the idea, but I didn't know that was the name, that it was called black tax. And then we also learned about brown tax.
also,
I think,
because
yeah.
it was also common with the Latino community.
Yeah.
What about?
So I was so intrigued by the fact that Nigerian movie industries, we are now bringing out more movies, interesting movies, and putting it on Netflix, and it just shows that we are doing more. Like our movie industry is going far, and I got to learn on that episode that I think we are number 2 on the movie platform. First is Hollywood, then Nollywood, and I think we're taking over small.
Let's pause on the taking over. But I think we were on the journey. Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, there's Hollywood, there's Bollywood, there's Nollywood.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the only woods I know. I don't know of any other. But it shows that Nollywood is actually where our entertainment is becoming global.
Yeah.
And we're not just serving the Nigerian audience for our movies. We're also serving the African audience, but also a global audience.
Exactly.
And not just our movies, even our music, our dance. And I think that's what makes us very unique, that we can produce things locally and we can market it globally.
Yeah.
And then the black tax thing was wild because someone is like, you're working hard, sending money to people, and then they have a sense of entitlement.
Exactly.
But does it mean that we shouldn't help? Because our culture promotes that
Helping,
sense of communal living and communal support. So what did you think was funny about the black tax conversation?
I think basically it was just the fact that even people who you just went to school with, or people that you just know from, not exactly your family, but they expect that you should give to them just because you have, or just because you have attained a level of success, then you should be able to give back to them because maybe they feel like they helped you do one or two things.
Yeah.
And sometimes they didn't
The issue is not even about you giving them. The issue is about them appreciating the little you've given to them. So they feel that they're entitled to your money. and you should give them, because why not? You're in abroad. So
You're in abroad.
You're in Abuja.
Abuja.
Or you're in Lagos.
Oh, yeah.
Or you're in Asaba. Because it's just about the capital, the city you are.
Your
If it
city.
looks urban, people are like, okay, you are in the capital or you are in an urban.
You're
or in
close
an
to
urban space.
Tinubu.
I'm telling you. And then, I mean, we'll talk about the ministers, they don't talk about governance. But then there was a topic around dance. And I remember we had to learn some moves that particular
Oh,
day.
yes.
Was it Adila we had as a guest?
Yeah, it was
Yes, we had
Adila.
She talked about music being, or dance being a beautiful virus in a way that it
Yes.
connects people and it makes. What did you think was funny about or was interesting around the dance conversation?
The different types of dance in Africa, the Ndlamu dance of South Africa, the Adamu dance of Kenya, and the Atilogo dance of Nigeria. We had different dance steps, and we even practiced different dance steps. And we even had to give our own
kind of
little
moves. I had to
moves.
learn some moves, like because me now old school dance like I be for year. But anyways, Andrea.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that episode because like she really spoke about how dance connects people. Like you forget the color of your skin.
Yes.
Exactly.
And even if you're a black person or you're an African or you're a Nigerian, like dance connects you wherever you are.
Different
If you see an Igbo person dancing somewhere in London streets now, and you can identify that, this person is Igbo, this person is Nigerian.
Yeah.
And it just gives you that sense of unity. And so it's really fun. But we also had an episode on Arts for Impact.
Yeah. We had Matt, Jamie, and Zachary.
Yes.
Oh,
we
I
did.
love that episode.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
We had some comments there. You want to read the comments for
Yes,
us?
sure. So Eyes on Asha said, activism is not like a dress you wear today and take off tomorrow.
Word.
Yeah.
I think she was quoting me.
Yes,
Yes.
Cynthia.
I said that.
Yes, she quoted you. And then Shalom MK9304 said, art is not just about content. It is you creating a community where people can connect and find a voice.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
Consitia said art is a 200%.
Yeah.
When used properly, we can build anything limitless.
Yeah, because actually with art, art is like a way of life. And it connects us across different identities, regardless of where you are, who you are, where you're from.
Yeah.
You could see a piece of art and you connect with differently. You can listen to music because, art is broad. It's music, is painting, is performing, art it's
Spoken
drama,
word.
it's, spoken word, it's poetry. Because art is basically everything we do. As long as you're expressing yourself in one way or the other, that's art. But I think that particular episode was also about the fact that we need to be conscious on how we use art to build community, like the comment said. And I think one of the guests mentioned that to build community with art, to promote civic consciousness, but also promote a sense of humanity on how we relate with people, how we connect with people, and how we use art to speak the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So there was another topic on AFCON story.
Oh yeah, the football one.
I think that was one of the most interesting topic.
Yeah, it was really. It was really
shout out to Afolabi and Suleiman. They were the guests on that particular episode.
And they schooled me literally on football because I learned so much.
And got back, I was like, I'm learning.
It was so much information and knowledge that was shared on that day, and I really enjoyed it. Like, it taught me more on the AFCON story, the history, African football in general, and even Nigerian football in general. So it was a very, very lovely.
Yeah, and also the gender dynamic. I talked about the female when we talk about the female footballers and how we need to pay more attention to female sport, or rather the women in sport. They will pay attention to the men in sport to give them that platform and celebrate them as much as we celebrate the men in sport. Was there any comments from I think we had
one on the AFCON story.
Moshood Issa was like, well done to everyone. I'm not sure any other person can do justice to this AFCON story. Shout out to our guest on this one.
The best.
And he also said the AFCON had no doubt had a lot of dynamics, and farewell to those who lost their lives. May their soul rest in peace. While watching some of these games, especially the semi-finals against South Africa.
Yeah, sadly we lost some people, but I think what was important was that we had our African football celebrated globally, because it was trending online consistently, not just within the continent but beyond. But also it just showed that sense of unity and the fact that the history connects with the whole idea of an autonomous and independent Africa, and an Africa that has so much more to offer to the world. And which other episode did we did we have going? Oh, Insecurity, because guys, we know the insecurity is, by January this year, Insecurity was a major issue. Remember, the kidnapping case had increased. We had higher numbers of kidnaps happening, even in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja.
I think Abuja recorded one of the highest, had the highest record of insecurity in Nigeria.
Yeah, when it came to kidnapping, right? That first quarter of the year. Do we think there's been any improvement?
I think they've been an improvement, because lately we've not been hearing any case of kidnapping as much as it was earlier this year.
And I know we had like Dr. Kabir and Janice Haruna talk about security or insecurity in Nigeria and in Abuja. Did we have any comments on that?
Yes, so we had some comments on safety within our cities, which also relates to insecurity in Nigeria, of course. And someone said, "You're looking amazing.
Yeah,
when would
maybe
you host
she's
me on
talking
the
to us.
podcast?"
We are always looking amazing. So thank you.
Thank you. You're always looking amazing. Don't worry. We will be there in our next podcast. I will surely invite you.
We'll find you.
Yeah, find you.
And Tamara said, "Thank you for this convo. I have also been an advocate for observing your environment, but sometimes as humans, we get too relaxed." That's true.
That's true. We can never get relaxed. We have to be conscious about where we are and our environment and people around us. Yeah. We had on that comment here.
I
Do you
think
want to go there?
Ayusufu Hafez. He said, as a security professional, enhancing your personal security involves taking specific measures. Here are a few. He mentioned some of them.
Narcissus this guy give us. But continue.
He wrote a textbook.
Thank you very much for your comments. Yusufu at Tamara also said, "Let me also add that while I don't support the extra high fares by the airport taxis are likely just as secure, if not more secure than the ride app taxis. The airport taxis are registered with an association and union at the airport with yearly checks, vetting done by FAN." I think I like that comment.
Yeah.
He's actually right, because most people,
he or she,
most people think that the other in-app taxis are better off, but I can see.
No, I think the point is they're actually cheaper.
They are
more
cheaper.
affordable than airport taxis.
Yeah, they are cheaper, but I think airport taxis are actually safer. Because now, if anything goes wrong, you can go to FAN and find out who the driver is, the car, and they'll track the person down.
Yeah.
Unlike the other taxis, where we don't even know who even if you lay complaint, most times they don't even reply you.
Don't reply the complaint.
So
true. Very, very important point. And I know Yusufu did highlight things like implement defense in depth, optimize taxi safety, stay clear of isolated and dimly lit areas. You need to sharpen your awareness, right? But then I'm hoping that as we progress, that our security situation would actually be addressed. Because for Nigeria, we need to deal with our insecurity. It's affecting tourism. It's affecting how people even see Nigeria. It's even affecting how we interact socially.
With each other.
With each other. And honestly, the government needs to step up its game when it comes to addressing insecurity in our country. But then we went straight to a conversation around digitalization and democracy. And I think that was an interesting conversation. We had Sadetu Hamu on the episode and Samuel Folorusho. Did we have a comment? I think we had a comment from that.
I think from Emma Williams.
Yes.
He said, "Keep this going. Wasn't expecting much." Woo!
Wow. I see the shade, but I'm going to ignore it.
Okay.
But read on, my sister.
Okay, Emma, don't worry. Surprisingly quite engaging. Thanks to you. All your guests reminds us our youths are ready to take care of our problems. Quite a knowledgeable theme. We shock you, Abi.
Yes, obviously Generation X. Because you say our youth, it means it's either millennial or Gen Z.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for your comments. We love that, because that was also an important conversation with the evolution in the tech space, and with artificial intelligence playing a lot more role, and a lot of questions around digital democracy. I think it's important we begin to get involved in even how technologies are designed and developed and deployed for usage. But even as citizens, how can we leverage these tools to promote civic engagement? How can we leverage these tools to demand accountability, to fight for human rights, and to build civic consciousness amongst our young people? And then the one that that episode was because Nigerians were fighting about that issue.
Exactly.
The courts, the vote and the courts. There was eyes on the judiciary trending for a while. Even judiciary was shook. Like, hey, what's happening in this country? What did you guys
We're watching them.
We had Barrister Chiwang and Ibrahim Farouk on that particular episode. We talked about the votes and the courts. We looked at Liberia elections and looked at the courts. There was a comment there. Can we read the comment?
Yeah, Tabitha.
Tabitha.
Says, shout out to my friend Barrister Chiwang. Great work. Good work, guys. I love that. What I want to add is in the aspect of how to win the trust of Nigerians in the next election. I think winning or regaining Nigerians' trust will happen when we begin to deal with the issue of lack of value system from the roots of the country.
Very important.
Because of that, we find it difficult to be transparent in our dealings. We bend or break laws and don't feel a thing. We can thwart justice and still feel like heroes. etc. I think when we begin to have respect for law and order and treat our law like a god, such that no one can be above it, then things will certainly begin to take shape. Election and everything else.
Thank you. Someone else, we had a Yob Gang and said, this is an eye-opener and highly educative. Kudos to you all. Thank you so much. Thank you, Tabitha, for that interesting comment. And true, issues around our value system, issues around trust. Because the truth is, generally, we Nigerians, we don't trust each other.
We don't trust our neighbor.
Our trust, we don't get trust.
Our brother.
So if we can't even trust each other, how we will not trust elections? I won't feel like if elections go well, because naturally we have trust issues, we will still not trust. Someone told me that only in Nigeria you go to the ATM, someone will withdraw money and still count it. You will go out to counter, the banker will count the money with the machine. They give you will still count it.
Of course, you cannot trust.
We have to be sure that my 100 naira is my 100 naira.
Yes.
But I think it's about issues around our value system from that particular. The elections revealed a lot. And a lot of us, I know it raised questions around the issues around the trust in the judiciary also. I'm hoping that in this new phase of electoral reform, that would focus a lot in building trust in our electoral process, in the electoral commission, but that citizens, we also become a lot more conscious on how we engage. And we also work on ourselves, because we Nigerians are part of the problem. Not really government get wahala.
We are our own problem.
We have our own problem.
Exactly. We need to fix ourselves first before we start talking about fixing the government, because we are our problems most times.
Ladies, I want to pull Ayo, because we have another young, beautiful lady who was with us in this season. And I'll be pulling Ayo in 1, 2, 3. Yeah, Ayo, she arrived like the one we've been waiting for. We literally pulled you from behind the scene, and here you are.
I'm so
glad to be back.
From the laughter, you can tell. I'm glad to be back.
I'm loving it.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we're talking about episodes that made our season 2 amazing and beautiful, and I want to talk about the gender part, because obviously we cannot talk on Unamplified Podcast without gender. And we had one of the episodes around uniting against gender-based violence. And then we also had another one, investing to accelerate progress for women. So we had comments around the first. I think we had the comments on the gender-based violence one.
Yeah, we had a comment from Emmanuel Augustina.
Yeah.
And he said, indeed, there is no justification for any kind of gender violence. And then we had a comment from Folorusho Bamiboye. And they said, an adult manipulating a minor, anyone less than 18, into a sexual relationship and saying she gave consent is common. Saying a minor said yes is not an excuse.
True.
And then we had a comment from Sherry Slim that said, a lot of women dying in silence because of stigma from society.
Yeah, I mean, if we pause a bit to talk about it, I think the one around minor is very important, because there's something we need to understand. A minor cannot give consent.
No.
The same way we say someone who is induced, either drugged, or someone who is drunk, intoxicated, can also not give consent. Those are important things to understand, that we need to draw that fine line. Most times you see situations where it'll be like, oh, she fell in love with me and she's 14 years old, and you're in your 30s or in your 20s. Just to understand that she's still a minor.
Even minors, that I don't understand what a 30-year-old thinks they have in common with a 14-year-old.
See, that beats me. I don't understand too. Because I have nephews and nieces that are 13 and 14. And when I think of someone my age claiming to have, a romantic relationship with such with that my baby. I'm just
It's
wondering,
really
like,
baby.
yes, I'm wondering, like, are you okay?
Yeah.
Did they curse you? Because you need to go for help. I just feel like you either need to be locked up or you need help, right? But the part around the stigma, I think that was what was also something that we discussed in that particular episode.
Yeah.
When people speak up, let's not stigmatize them.
Yeah.
Let's listen to them, give them safe spaces to talk, because there is no excuse for gender-based violence, and we must speak up without fear. Now we talked of accelerating progress. How can we ensure women development? That topic was I think it was our last episode.
Yeah, it was the last episode.
And that was the period of the International Women's Day. That was the Women's Month that we had a particular episode. I know for the gender-based violence one, we had Pfizer as our guest, and then we had Nefisa and Makamaza as the guest for the
accelerating
women's progress. Yes. What did we think was interesting about that? Every year we have Women's Month. Is there a need for that?
Of course.
I was expecting, of course. If I expected nothing, I would just kick you out of the studio. What are you not saying?
Someone complained that what Mother's Day, there are like 12 Mother's Day in a year. What happened to fathers?
There's one Father's Day.
There's more than one Father's Day. There's more than one Father's Day.
The thing is that it depends on where you live.
Different churches have Father's Day. Different from the general one you celebrate.
Okay.
The national one. But I get it. But whenever I talk about women, can men just chill? Not be like, no, what about me?
They have the rest of the year. So
Exactly.
let's just
The
have
whole
our
year
month.
is men's year. Then we just have our own month.
Our own month.
Allow us to have it.
Yeah, but I think what is important is that that's the month we dedicate to creating awareness around the need for gender equality.
Yeah.
But also giving opportunities for better investment in women to accelerate progress. Because at the end, if you don't have equality, you can't have development.
Yeah,
And for countries that have achieved development, they had to get to a level of equality. And moving from the gender conversation, there was the generations conversation when millennials came to this studio and took over the episode.
They were giving us hot.
I'm like, hey, is it bad that I'm millennial?
Was it when millennials or Gen
I mean,
Z?
sorry, Gen Zs. I want to say millennials. Because I'm so millennial, I can't even think beyond my generation. I'm sorry.
But you know, funny enough, saying this because you're some millennial thing, a lot of people would think that is an insult. Like
Really?
saying someone is a millennial now is kind of like an insult.
Why?
Haven't you seen all these like millennial core videos on TikTok? People are saying now that millennials are cringe.
Really?
So
What? I'm not saying that because I feel like millennials are the in thing, right? I mean, I saw that
confused.
video around how Gen Zs are looking old and millennials
please,
are
looking
young.
that one is just ageism,
it was-
age shaming,
Which one?
face shaming.
Oh, Jesus.
It
You
was
see?
true.
She has put up another one.
met some
Age shaming.
kids.
Wow.
I met some young people, and then they asked my age, and I told them my age, and they were like, they thought they were older than I was. I said, me too. I thought so too. What are you doing? You need to start working out. You need to start eating healthy. You need to start chilling. Because, you can't be looking older than me.
But Gen Zs are coming up with things. Like she just said something now, age shaming. Like where did that start from?
You've never heard of ageism.
Oh,
There's
God.
ageism, but
It's
in not the
ageism.
sense you're bringing it in. The sense
This one is face shaming,
See, we are
body
back to
shaming,
face shaming,
everything
body
shaming.
It's bad enough that when we had Annabella and Jemima on show, they wanted to, use their Gen Z spirit to wipe us dry. But that's an interesting conversation because it made me understand that these generations we're so close. It's basically Generation Z is basically after millennials.
After millennials,
Why?
yeah.
But for some reason, we have some differences. So we all are within the youth category in a way, the young generation, but there are differences and there are peculiarities within each generation.
Yeah.
Because the way Gen Z would act or address a particular issue is different from the way we would. The way now you have seen age shaming. Unto the fact say that some Gen Z look older past millennial, no be our fault. But then that being
You
said,
say look shaming.
that being said,
Looksism.
it just means we need to learn because some of us millennials, people were looking up to like them, Kate Henshaw. There are some of these people that you see them, they're in their 50s, but they're killing it.
And they're looking
and you're like,
younger.
that's my role model.
Exactly.
When I'm 50, I want to be as hot as that. You know what I'm saying? So Gen Z should also be looking because my problem with Gen Z, you don't like to learn from other generation. You think you have all the answers.
They feel like they're enough within themselves.
Gen Zs,
Yes.
right? Were very history oriented.
Oh, God.
Yes, that's what we are.
Okay.
We love to learn from the older generations.
Wow.
It's just that millennials like to think they are better than us.
I feel like it's the other way around.
No.
You Gen Z in this room.
Hey.
But anyways, let's move straight to the question around mental health because if we start this debate, we're not going to end. And then at one point, it seemed like Gen Zs made mental health a common conversation.
Yeah.
I like that about because I also believe in learning from across generations. I like the fact that within their generation, there is no more, they don't have stigma when it comes to mental health conversations.
Yeah.
Gen Zs are more open to talk about mental health, talk about the things they want and what they do not want. Like Jemima said, millennials like to stick to their suffering. I'm like, my dear, hard work produces results. We believe in hard work. But that being said, I think the mental health conversation was also interesting.
Yeah, it was a similarity that Gen Z and millennials share, because everyone wants to focus on their mental health. No matter how much you want to work and make money, you also want to rest.
Yes.
You also want to have a social life, you get. So that was a very common aspect, common ground for Gen Zs and mental and for Gen Zs and millennials. Yeah. When we were having the discussion, that's what I noticed, and I really enjoyed that conversation.
Yeah, I think we had Jemima still on that episode
for mental health,
and then we had Valerie also. What did you think about the conversation?
So I thought it was a very insightful conversation. We spoke about how people like to adopt struggles that are not their struggles. And true. I think that's a good thing to discuss and bring awareness to.
Yeah.
Like, you should know what the actual symptoms of a particular thing are and not just claim something to yourself. Yeah. And also, I think now that the episode has been out for a while, it has made me realize how Nigerians don't really take mental health seriously, because that video has like 70 views. So all of you, please go and watch the video.
Go and watch it. Learn about mental health. Mental health saves. Because you can be working, you can be okay, then one day you wake up, you cannot stand up, and it's not physical, it's mental.
Exactly.
That after that episode, I had to go research and start reading that, and now I'm a lot more conscious around it. But I think we then had a question around identity, the threat of identity. We had a comment from Jayegaskia. This is the way I looked at you, because we know who this person is. Good day, sir. Adehelu. And he said, keep up this effort. But I think the conversation around identity, we had Mukhtar and we had Obianuju in that particular episode. And we had a question around what is the Nigerian identity. I think it was Obianuju that said we have a cocktail of identities. What did you guys think about that conversation?
I think that's very true, because Nigerians, we're very versatile in the sense that, first of all, we have multiple tribes, and then religions. We practice different religions, and we come from different backgrounds. Yeah. But then we're one country. We're from one country. We're one nation. And so when we go out there, people meet us, and they're like, we're still similar.
Yes.
Even with the diversity, we're still very similar, because we grew up listening to the same songs. We grew up watching the same type of films.
Yeah, actually, I always tell people that we have our differences and our diversities, but those are things that make us beautiful, because you can. So I can't remember which country I was, and talked about how in Nigeria you have a diversity of cuisines, food. Like almost every tribe or every state has what is peculiar to them when it comes to their food. Yeah. When it comes to drinks, we have locally made drinks that are really, really nice. And so if you think about the beauties in all these diversities, then maybe that can be what will help us build our Nigerian identity. But beyond that is the need for unity. And as younger people, we need to focus more in projecting a positive identity abroad. I beg, I'm tired of these fraudsters, all these Yahoo, all these internet fraudsters.
Spoiling our name.
Drug pushers, or what do you call these drug dealers? These are the guys that create a bad impression on Nigeria. And I was saying on the other day that most people outside Nigeria don't know who Tinubu is. Yeah. They don't know who the ministers are. The people that they use in assessing Nigeria are the average day-to-day Nigerians they meet. And if they meet a Nigerian as a fraudster, they would assume all Nigerians are fraudsters. And so when you come and say the government is not killing our identity globally. We are when we go out and we mess up. And when we condone all these internet fraudsters and drug dealers, we celebrate their lifestyles. They are the ones tarnishing our image. There are a lot of young Nigerians who have talent, but because of the negative names, it's affecting how they can export their talent or even become marketable. True. And I wish Nigerians would understand that we make up our own image, we tell our stories, and whatever we do affects everyone. I don't they rank because they pay me because someone
you.
told me yes. Now someone said, "Oh, Nigerians are this." I was so angry. I'm like, "No, Nigerians are not criminals. Maybe you want you met as a criminal. Many Nigerians are not criminals." You know, I took it very personal when anybody said Nigerians are criminals.
You have to, because at the end of the day, it's going to affect you one way or the other.
Yes, that's the thing. And people come and be cursing government. I'm like, that your brother that you're celebrating that came back after 1 month, he's now a millionaire. Ask him where is the money coming from? How did he blow? Because there's no thing you will do that you blow like that when you not win lottery. You know,
you're very angry.
I'm very angry. But let's go to rising cost of living because things are still expensive. Food still costs. Bread. The other day I wanted to buy a loaf of bread. They say 1.8. I say why?
One loaf.
I say thank God I'm on a diet. Must I eat bread? What did you think about that episode?
Yeah, like the way you were saying about how there are so many things that bring us together. This rising cost of living crisis is bringing us together.
It is. We are united in suffering.
Honestly, we're suffering and smiling.
I'm telling you.
Because it's just... It's baffling. Because
I went to the market
just to buy Coke.
I went to the market.
To buy Coke is like 400 naira.
I went to the market the other day with a budget of like 15k and I ended up spending 25k.
Wow.
I wanted to cry.
And the things you bought
and
were probably not up to what you were hoping to buy.
I didn't even buy the complete things I wanted to get.
And you already exceeded your budget.
I already exceeded my budget. So I just left the market disappointed and sad and...
The thing about spending money on food, you spend the money and then 5 minutes later, the food is gone.
The food is gone.
Why?
Because I think that's how it's supposed to go. If the food is not gone, how will you buy more? It has to be gone. But I think it's also about, not everything is just expensive, just like electricity tariff. I was just complaining, for some reason, whether they put me on Bandeyo or what, better I move from that Bandeyo, I know they see lights. They put me on a stupid ban, said we have almost 20 hours light, and then I barely get even 10 hours. What is 10 hours? The power situation is worse than it was earlier, but the tariff, you recharge your electricity token. Within 2 weeks, it's exhausted. I'm like, what am I using? And I live alone. Imagine when I now have family. And I work. So then I'm away morning to evening. So I'm basically
I'm not even using the lights at that much.
And I travel. So how is the unit finishing? So electricity tariff is expensive or got higher, but we're not even seeing power. So we're paying a lot for crappy service.
And even transportation now.
Transportation
has gone off.
Transportation is expensive.
Over the roof.
Yes.
It's insane.
I wonder how the average citizen is surviving. How the average young person who is still trying to get a job. Because we still have high cost of unemployment.
Yeah.
We're still struggling to get an enabling environment for young talent to thrive. So it's almost like there's a lot we're dealing with now. So when I meet Nigerians, sometimes I just give them a hug. The other day in the church, one was sitting beside me. When they say, "Priest, stand up, let us," she told me, I just come from almost. I say, "Ma, sorry, I just hug her." Because all you need now is a hug.
It's just a hug.
Because people are going through a lot. And I think we should be nicer to everyone we meet, honestly, because everyone is dealing with one challenge or the other. And even though we all have our personal problems, don't be the problem to somebody else. If you cannot help them, don't add to their troubles. Don't say unkind things. Let's be kind in our words, kind in how we interact, kind in our comments online. So don't push people to suicide. But let us also believe that this is a phase. Every country is dealing with an economic challenge. Yeah. And Nigeria hopefully will pass through this phase. And gradually, things will be better when we, the people, participate. Anyways, it's been an interesting journey so far. And we really want to appreciate all our audience listening to us on YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Twitter or X, even those that just drop comments on WhatsApp to us personally and individually. Thank you so much. And on LinkedIn, but we want to specifically mention important names. People took out their time to actually drop comments throughout this season. We have Obi Clarkson, Studio NG, Orakwechi Gozie, The Jemima, Nana Dudi, Shems Hub, we have Bond Savage, Official, Judith Creatives, Anakwe JD, Miss Andrea T, Kaiser Baby, call out, go next.
Slims Andrea 69.
Yeah.
Sally OK, DNT. Anu Oluwapo.
Yeah.
Nosike 007, Jamie, Supply Zakari, Mr. Oloade, Ami Abdul, Paul Akume, Liz Elizabeth Blue.
Yep.
Boy Kubi, Juliet Ocheja, King Striker, then Afisat, Dean Afisat.
Yeah, and on YouTube, we also had interesting people who dropped in comments for us. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so that was Instagram, and on YouTube we had
Ebele Honora, we had Yambi Jam. I'm sorry. We have Kamal Garba, we have Moshud Issa, Jai Gaskia, Conceit Arts, we had Shalom MK, Eyes on Asha, we had Walma Gupar, Tinus, Speak Right Academy, Broken Truth. We
also have Tamara OE,
Yep.
Kelvin Chuma, Emma Williams, Ezekiel Wokong, Tabitha Chibi Gwalem, Yop Gang, Ibrahim Farouk, Bright Odems, God's Favor, Ogbona Ogoji, Oke Monube.
Thank you so much, guys, for dropping your comments, for liking, for sharing. And we have people behind the scenes that make this show as beautiful as what you see. And I will hand over to my co-host to do our shout out to our guys behind the scene.
Yes, so shout out to our wonderful director, Hamilton. Woo! Shout out to our amazing producer, DJ Drexx.
Yes, so
shout out to Coca behind the cameras. Shout out to
Cinematographer
Austin. Of course, shout out to Austin. Shout out to Ifeanyi, Alan, and
Ezekiel. And we have Samuel Folorusho, Steven. And we have Quincy Y, our other co-host.
With the vibes.
Yes, always coming with the vibes. And we have Chi. Chi has been supporting us from afar. Like I said, she's away for further studies in the abroad. But yeah, it's honestly been an amazing ride this season. And thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
So, Ayo, over to you.
Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Make sure you click the notification bell so that you're always notified when we upload. And don't forget to like, comment, share with your friends, your family, your loved ones, even your acquaintances. And then don't forget to follow us on Instagram, on X, on TikTok, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and any social media you have, just search our name. We might be there.
We will be there. And share with your enemies too. May have a message for your enemies that would inspire love. We're coming to the end of season 2. And like we always say, my accent was just changing.
Oh, wow.
In between,
you came back to UK.
I can't say where I did. I don't know where I did. And we say, when you're on,
you're amplified.
Cheers to Africa. Woo!